Hi, I'm Marie-Claire from Revelation Therapy. This is the Revelation Station where we talk and take action on healing from narcissistic abuse. I don't know if you've ever experienced this when you're going through a challenging time, like finding out you're dating a narcissist, and somebody says to you that you're going to learn so much from this experience, you're going to grow so much, and it's like the worst thing someone could say, because when you're in the moment, you really don't want to learn anything from the experience. You were hoping to love and be loved in return, and instead you got abused. So I just want to acknowledge how frustrating that is. But looking back, I can see that I really learned an incredible amount, and I learned most things away from the narcissist, but it got me thinking, what did I actually learn from the narcissist? What did I learn directly from my experience with narcissists in my life? And so I came up with 6 things. So if you're interested to know 6 things I learned from my experience with the narcissists in my life, then watch on. So the first thing I learned is that I should get more selfish. And I don't mean become a selfish person. I put the self in quotes. Become more myself, become more self-focused. And the reason I learned this from the narcissist is because they're very selfish people. So if you think of the trait of being selfish on a continuum, so on this end you've got incredibly self-focused, self-centered, selfish person. And on this end of the spectrum, you've got someone that's always looking outside of themselves, looking to serve and give to others, and is not focused on themselves. So they're not selfish, but neither of these are healthy. And so the narcissist is over here, and the people pleaser, the empath, the codependent is over here. I realised that in order to be healthy and then to attract healthy relationships to me, I needed to move myself more into the middle here and become a more healthy person, really. So I gave myself permission to be selfish. So give yourself permission to be selfish. I had a program running that it was selfish for me to focus on myself, and I should always be giving to others and looking out to other people to validate myself. And well, we know where that gets us. That gets us dating a narcissist, which is not where anyone really wants to be. And so by uncovering this belief, I was able to just basically rebel against it and take a stand that no, focusing on yourself is not selfish. And honestly, we were born to be ourselves. If we were born to be another person, then we would have been born as that person. I was born in this body to be me. And so that's what I'm here to do. So really, it's okay to be selfish. It's okay to be you. And by that, I mean feeling your feelings and trusting your gut instinct and listening to what's going on inside rather than looking outside to the narcissist. So the second thing I learned from the narcissist is that I should really go for what I want in life, because a lot of narcissists, they can be quite successful, as in they have a lot of external success, not all of them, but a lot of them, and they really go after what they want in life. So if they want a certain career, they'll put themselves forwards for that. They will go after relationships that they want because, well, for many reasons, but their ego kind of depends on it. Their energy depends on having the energy from other people. But what I realised is that I'm not going to preemptively reject myself by not even putting myself forward for it in the first place, because we may be rejected, but if we've never even put ourselves out there in the first place, then what's the point? So I realised that I had to, rather than live with the regret of having missed opportunities, I just had to put myself out there. And that's something that I'm still learning, and it's a work in progress, but I really like this idea of following up on all of the things that we are drawn to do, following up on people that we meet and we like them, follow up and ask them for a coffee, rather than just shoving all those things down and not allowing those opportunities to come to you. And it's funny because I moved to a new city a few years ago, and I was looking for a new job, and I kept seeing this job come up, and it sounded amazing, like it literally sounded like my perfect job, but I didn't apply for it because I thought, they probably wouldn't give it to me, and I don't know if I'm qualified enough, and I didn't apply for it. But then it kept coming up over and over again. About the 7th time I saw it, I thought, what have I got to lose? So I applied for it. And when I went for the interview and then was offered the job, I took the job. That's where I met my husband, who is an incredible, amazing person. And so had I have listened to this self-talk that I'm not going to get this job, I'm not experienced enough, then I wouldn't have applied, and my life wouldn't have taken the direction that it has. And oh my God, I'm so glad I did. So I think that putting the idea of whether we're going to be rejected or not in the hands of the world, in other people, is so much better than sitting at home alone, already rejecting ourselves and not even giving ourselves the opportunity to go out there. So I would ask you what you do want, and also explore what's stopping you so that you can move past that and stop having missed opportunities in life. So the third thing I learned from the narcissist is really how not to behave, how not to be and show up in the world. And they are such a great example of how not to behave, with their verbal abuse and the lying and shaming and guilt tripping, projection, threats, blame, and not taking responsibility. Like, the list just goes on and on. I read this book, I cannot remember what it was called, but there was a chapter in the book about how not everyone is nice. I think it was some people are mean. And I remember at the time this being like a light bulb moment for me, because this was news to me. I feel like as people pleasers and people with so much empathy, we project our empathy out onto the world. And so we just assume that people are conscientious and they care about other people and that they have a heart, when they actually don't, which is really scary. And if you don't know that about people in the world, then you leave yourself so open and vulnerable to being abused and taken advantage of by these people that don't have empathy, because you don't even suspect them. Because how can you even comprehend that someone can exist like that and behave like that? And so it's almost like we turn a blind eye to it, or it doesn't register until the behaviour gets so bad, because it's just not in our nature at all. By accepting this as a truth, even though it's a painful, horrible truth that some people are mean, it sets you free a little bit, because you can actually look at their behaviour for what it really is, rather than minimise it or justify it in some way, make excuses for their behaviour. I adopted the belief that there is no excuse for bad behaviour. Bad behaviour is bad behaviour, and we can all choose how we behave. And so if you're going to choose to be abusive, then that's on you. It's not on the person on the receiving end. Perfect example of how not to behave, how not to live your life, right there with the narcissist. The fourth thing I learned from the narcissist is that it's okay to be me. It's kind of an extension of the third thing I learned. I don't have these narcissistic traits that I've listed. If you have empathy and you're able to take responsibility for your life and your behaviour, even when you make mistakes, and you're willing to improve and make changes, then you're not a narcissist. It's as simple as that. I would just much rather be in the position of healing from narcissistic abuse than healing from the fact that I was a narcissist. Which, I mean, you don't really want to be in either position, but I'd still rather be accepting that I was abused rather than accepting the fact that I'm an abuser, so to speak. And so it's really realising that you don't have these awful character traits, and accepting yourself, and the fact that you have empathy is such a wonderful quality. To feel your feelings, to have emotions, good and bad ones, and to have real genuine connections with other people. These things are priceless. A narcissist doesn't get to experience these things. So hell yeah, it's okay to be me and it's okay to be you. The fifth thing I learned from my experience with narcissists is that people are going to react however they are going to react. It's actually got nothing to do with you, because there's many times that a narcissist can totally blow up in your face over the tiniest thing, and over experience of spending time with different people, different narcissists and people that weren't narcissists, I realised that you're never going to control how people react, and it's totally not even about you. How someone chooses to react to something you do, don't do, say, don't say, it's all about them. It's got nothing to do with you, and it's really not personal. And so this is really freeing, because when we're experiencing narcissistic abuse, we can sometimes take their reactions personally and take it as there's something actually wrong with us because of the way that they're blowing up and blaming and shaming us. We can internalize that. But when you experience so many different reactions from different people to the same behaviour, then you realise that that's just nonsense. There is really no right or wrong. It's just people's perceptions. And so if you become okay with how you are, how you behave, the things you say, do, don't do, then you've got no worries, because if you accept yourself, then people don't have anything on you. What are they going to use to manipulate you with? Nothing. So the sixth thing I learned from the narcissist, this is actually from the second narcissist I dated, and it's to trust my gut instinct, to listen and take action on my gut instinct as well. It's one thing to feel your gut instinct, but it's another thing to take action based on what you're feeling. And I really learnt this the hard way, because I completely ignored my gut instinct about this person. I went along with the relationship, and on the surface it kind of appeared fine, okay, but I still had this gut instinct that told me that something was wrong and I didn't feel safe. And I decided to ride out the relationship until, it went one way or another, like a make or break situation. And it got to the point where I realised that my gut instinct was 100% correct, because it became blatantly obvious that I was not safe at all. I wasn't even physically safe to be left alone with this person. And as soon as that happened and the relationship ended, I walked away. I realised that I don't need to have external proof in order for me to trust my gut instinct. And up until that point, I had ignored my gut instinct and gone against it so many times, and it had caused me so much pain as a result. I say your gut instinct is your gut instinct is your gut instinct. There is no denying or questioning your gut instinct. It's so powerful, and it deserves a place in your life where you listen to it and you work with it. So those were the 6 things I learned from the narcissist, and I mean, it goes without saying how awful the experience of narcissistic abuse is, but I really believe that when we can process the emotions that go with that go alongside the abuse, and we can release the emotions, and at the same time we can learn those lessons, that those 2 things combined really set us up for a future that is totally different to what we've experienced in the past, and is miles better. So it's really worth doing the work. So keep going and ask yourself, what have you learned so far from the narcissists in your life? What have you learned about yourself, about the world, and about the narcissist? And when you couple that with processing the emotional pain that goes along with narcissistic abuse, then you really become a force to be reckoned with. So I hope that helps you, and I want to send you lots of positivities for your healing journey. Keep going. You deserve to heal from narcissistic abuse, and it will happen. If you keep dedicating yourself to this, then healing is inevitable. So until the next video, take care. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe so that you're notified every time I upload a new weekly video. If you head on over to revelationtherapy.com, I've also created a few free resources for you to help you on your healing journey. There's currently a free workbook and a checklist, and I'm adding to those all the time. So be sure to check those out. I'll leave the link in the description below. And if you have any questions at all, you can find me on most social media channels at Revelation Therapy. For now, sending you so many positivities to help you on your healing journey, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Okay. The 5th, that's 4. Learn to count, Marie. Oh, okay. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I can count. No. Okay. Okay. Oh, tea is yummy. I may be out of tea. Oh, there's more in there than I thought. Cute. So this is 1 pot of tea per video at this rate. And it's not a little pot. I mean, look at that. Uh-oh. Drip. Yeah, this one is just mumble jumble. I'm sharing them with you here. Why am I sharing them? I guess that's a great question, isn't it? Yeah, okay, I'm waffling again. I always forget what I'm saying mid-sentence. Takes a long time, eh? Let's wrap up. Well, that came out quite different.